So coming in the first spot is VRchat. This I've already covered right here, but I just wanted to include it into the mix because I know there is a lot of younger people that are playing Quest 2, kids, adults, any age, you name it. VRchat's free, the SPIDER-LAIR is free, and it's a really fun test to get an idea of what web slinging's like in Spider-Man VR. Again, as I said in my other video, I'll repeat in this video, this is something that you will have to practice at because, I'll be honest, even I struggle with it sometimes. You have to be quite used to the webbing system because each Spider-Man game does offer a different type of way to use webs. So if you're not familiar with it, have a little bit of a test around, play around with it. But apart from the web slinging, you've got a whole bunch of customization options which go with it. And as well a bunch of suits from different type of Spider-Man which you can be, from the comics to the movies, that you can end up being. That's the beautiful thing with SPIDER-LAIR in here. You ever want to be Spider-Man PS4? You can do that. Miles Morales? You can do that. The original Spider-Man or the movie Spider-Man? You can do that. And there's different coloured webs you can get and a whole range of different customization options to fit your best suited Spider-Man version that you want to be. Overall, a very fun experience to play as Spider-Man, and overall an enjoyable game mode that I would 100% recommend coming back to every now and then if you want to have a Spider-Man experience to play. Next is a game called Boneworks, which I'm sure where a lot of you are familiar with. Here's just a clip of me just messing around in Boneworks as the classic Spider-Man outfit right here. But as you can see, realistic web slinging in this. This, obviously, you do have to pay for. I'll leave the link in the description if you want to go and see the prices for you. It's on Oculus, it's on Steam, but the mods are free. Pretty good quality mods as well, made from incredible modders in the Boneworks mod community. Enjoyable mods that I love using. This is my #1 favourite mod that I do love using in Boneworks, which I do usually end up using quite a lot. And it brings out quite a realistic physics Spider-Man experience, so if you want to get a real sort of touch on how it is to fight like Spider-Man, this does give quite a action-packed take on it, and it makes you honestly feel like that you are Spider-Man himself. The next example here that I'm showing you is of Blade and Sorcery Nomad. Native to the Quest 2, it's a recently brand new web slinging version of the Spider-Man webs mod. So with this, you cast a spell and you literally make a sort of like sling with the web slinging right here. This is really my most favourite version of Spider-Man VR because it doesn't really make it that immersive. But then again, Nomad does not have scripted mods yet, so this is a substitute for Nomad players on Blade and Sorcery, sadly. There is another version on PC that isn't anything like this. It actually is a web slinging mod with like webs once you activate the spell, but it isn't anything like Nomad. I'll leave the link down in the description if you guys haven't got this yet. But yeah, just thought I'd add it to the list. Next are two games which everybody's gonna know and everybody's gonna love. You've either tried it or you haven't tried it. It is the Marvel Spider-Man Far From Home and Homecoming experiences. So the first gameplay here that you are seeing is the first gameplay of Far From Home. No, not Far From Home. Homecoming. Homecoming right here is a little bit of a simulated demo to be able to give you an idea of how the web shooting works in VR. This is a really nice sort of touch with it, and it gets you to just have a little bit of a mess around. The only thing that I don't like about these, obviously they're demo versions, there isn't really much story to these. It's more of just an interactive experience to make you feel like you're in the shoes of Spider-Man right here. And Marvel Studios demos of Homecoming and Far From Home fit that perfectly. Homecoming, you don't really get to do a lot, sadly. Makes you dress as Spider-Man, which is really freaking cool. Gets to use the web shooters as Spider-Man, which is also really cool. You get to see what you look like as Spider-Man, which is also really cool. But that is as far as the homecoming experience goes. You can repeat the same thing over and over again, but it doesn't really go any further than that. But then you get to the Far From Home experience right here, where it gets you to actually have the experience to swing around Manhattan, which is awesome. It's got a mini story mode, which is around 10 minutes long, I'd say. And then you've got a free roam area, which you can do little trials, and you can unlock the maximum of 4 suits, which end up being in the movie. So you get the upgraded suit, the stealth suit, the regular suit, and I think the homemade suit, if I'm correct. But with this, it's a free web slinging experience. You get to just have a free play around the city. The web slinging is pretty solid. If you aren't too bothered about the graphics, then you will not entirely be too fussed about it then, and you will genuinely enjoy it, as I have. Playing both these experiences, these are both free, so you don't have to worry about paying for them, which is a really good thing. These have been out for quite a while, so if you are new to Quest 2 and you haven't played any of these yet, I highly recommend you hop on these while they're still here. Next is the experience of WEBGUY. This is a custom-made game made by Rigged, and it is a really impressive physics-based example of what a custom Spider-Man game can be all about. Yes, obviously, can't use the name Spider-Man because obviously there's already games like that out there, so obviously for copyright reasons, but this is a really great example of a demo/beta of what Spider-Man web slinging can be if you make it yourself. At the minute, there is only just one web slinging city area. The cities have been updated and the guy is regularly updating all of this good stuff right here to make it a solid game for us to play. You can go and find this on Sidequest, and overall, it's a worthy contender to try, and that you can play this with friends as well. This next game right here, I'm going to be doing more of a full video on it to give you guys a bit more of an inside look at this, but this is an AVENGERS VR Spider-Man simulator. This is in beta at the minute, so if it does look a bit unfinished, that is why. A guy called AVENGERS VR on TikTok has been making an AVENGERS VR game, but at the minute there is the Spider-Man mode, which is somewhat playable and completely done. There is mini challenges that you can do across the map, like robberies and fighting people at the minute, which is in the beginning stages of it. This is the only one of its kind at this moment where it's gotten somewhat close to a solid experience of making this, and it's really interesting to play. It's really interesting. Earlier, as I said, that there's different sort of physics to the web slinging. This one, obviously, it does have a bit of work because I do, when have moments of using the web slinging, you can for some reason use them on the ground to make your character fly in the air, which really shouldn't be happening. But the whole entire map, it's a really good map area. You've got 2 different parts of New York. It's really freaking cool, so it does let you go around. You've got different applications of a web ball. You can use the web slinging and jumping, and you've got the basic controls down, which I really do love. And overall, the web slinging on this, I'm not 100% certain on this yet. I haven't really got a full opinion, but it's a sort of thing that you have to go and try yourself to sort of get an idea with. So you don't really know if you like it or don't until you've tried it. But getting to have a little bit of a go on this, as a beta so far, it's really impressive what this guy's managed to do in just under a few months. You can install this on itch.io, down below in the description. Next is something I don't really know why this is a thing, to be fair. In Rec Room, if all else fails and you don't have a PC, you don't have VR chat, you don't know how to do anything, you've got Rec Room VR. There's plenty of examples of different Spider-Man web shooting in VR for this right here. Costumes are cool, I will admit. Web slinging, I'll be honest, I don't know where the web slinging element is in here. I think this is a Spider-Man No Way Home recreation, so you've got all the different characters here, including Spider-Man. But that's pretty much it. Yeah, there really isn't anything to say much about this apart from outfits, climbing up walls, super jumping high like this, and yeah, that's it. This is probably the worst version of that, I'll be honest. Then last but not least, this is a game called Not Spider-Man. This is another fan-made recreation on SideQuest that you can use, and the web slinging is really different on this. It's very fast-paced, very quick, but the only downside of this is if you do get it to a fast pace like I do, you can have the risk of falling into buildings like I am in this clip here. But honestly, as well, apart from that, it does feel like you're flying quite a bit, so it doesn't really give you that full experience of like you're swinging through the buildings. It more feels like you're just throwing yourself across the buildings or floating. Plus, you look like a pogo stick, so not really Spider-Man, but I guess that's the whole point. It's a not Spider-Man game. But yeah, that's literally it. It's just web slinging very fast through chock-a-block buildings. There isn't really much else to it, apart from that experience and how the webs feel.